The final day. My bare feet pounded on the spongy moss and heather-covered moorland. Every step sent pain spearing up my neck and thudding across my bruised face, but I couldn't slow. My breath heaved in and out of my lungs, the air whistling through my constricted throat. My pulse whooshed like running water in my ears. The sounds I made helped to disguise those of the person chasing me. It was hard to believe such horror was happening in such a beautiful place. I'd always sought sanctuary here. Before our world changed, the open space of the moorland had brought me peace. I pumped my arms by my sides, the knife handle clutched tight in my fingers. I pushed myself on. Sheer adrenaline kept me going. I didn't even dare to look over my shoulder for fear of discovering a hand reaching for me to haul me back. The moorland was on an incline now, the upward slope forcing my muscles to work even harder. The backs of my calves threatened to cramp, and I leaned forwards, trying to increase my momentum. My breathing grew harsher, and my heart thumped against the inside of my ribs. My head was spinning with adrenaline, but I kept going. Determination solidified in my veins. I was going to end this. Out here, there was nowhere for them to hide. It was too exposed. Once I reached the top of the rocky outcropping of the Tor, the exposed granite hilltop, they'd have no choice but to face me. I risked a glance back over my shoulder, but it was so brief I didn't see anything solid. It was like catching sight of movement out of the corner of your eye, a sharp shock to the heart, that fresh spurt of adrenaline. My foot caught on uneven ground, pitching me forwards. I circled my arms to keep my balance, the horror of falling filling me. If I fell, the person chasing me would be on top of me within seconds. Somehow I managed to stay upright, and I kept on running. The moorland stretched on for miles all around me. Silvery roads that had been deserted for weeks now wound through the patchwork of green, brown and yellow. The white contrails of plains that usually crisscrossed the clear azure of the sky were noticeably absent. I'd been living in what felt like a post-apocalyptic world over these past 3 weeks, and that hadn't even been the thing that had frightened me the most. The terrain grew steeper still, and I fought to keep up my pace. My lungs and throat burned, and I gasped and gulped the air, trying to draw in more oxygen to keep me going. They were gaining, though. Now the rasp of their breath sounded loud and horrifyingly close, as did the steady thump of their footsteps on the ground. My brain screamed for me to stop and rest, but I couldn't. If I stopped now, I'd die.